The studio lights of ABC's The View blaze brightly as the familiar theme music fades, and the audience's applause fills the air. The hosts Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, and Sunny Hostina settle into their seats, their smiles polished but carrying an undercurrent of anticipation. Today's guest is none other than Harrison Ford, the Hollywood legend known for his iconic roles as Han Solo, Indiana Jones, and Rick Deckard. Ford is here to promote a fictional upcoming film, a gritty war drama set in post-World War II Europe, but the atmosphere feels charged, as if everyone knows this won't be a typical promotional chat. Joy Behar, her red-framed glasses glinting under the lights, leans forward with a mischievous grin, her notes clutched tightly. "Harrison, welcome to The View," she begins, her tone warm but edged with something sharper. "You've played heroes who saved the day, but let's talk about the real world. People want to know where you stand on today's political climate." The audience shifts, sensing the pivot. Ford, dressed in a simple navy blazer, raises an eyebrow, his signature scowl flickering. "I'm here to talk about the movie, Joy," he says, his voice low but firm. Behar doesn't back down. "Oh, come on, Harrison, you're a cultural icon. Don't you think you owe it to your fans to speak out on issues like climate change or the state of democracy?" Ford leans back, crossing his arms. "I talk about what matters to me through my work. This film, for instance, it's about sacrifice, rebuilding, real human stakes." Behar smirks, undeterred. "So, you're saying you're above politics? That sounds like a cop-out." The crowd murmurs, and Whoopi tries to interject, "Let's keep this friendly, folks." But Behar presses on. "No, really, Harrison, silence can look like cowardice to some." Ford's jaw tightens, and he tilts his head, his eyes narrowing. "Cowardice? I didn't storm Normandy to get grilled on breakfast TV, Joy." The audience gasps, a mix of shock and delight, as the tension spikes. Behar, unfazed, leans in closer. "Maybe people just want to know if their heroes live up to their ideals." Ford's voice drops, icy and controlled. "If you want to talk ideals, ask me about the film. Otherwise, this is just noise." The crowd erupts in a mix of cheers and murmurs, and Sarah Haynes' eyes widen as she glances at Whoopi, who's trying to steer the conversation back. But the stage is set for a showdown, and Ford's patience is visibly fraying. The atmosphere in the studio grows electric as Joy Behar, never one to shy away from a challenge, doubles down. "Harrison, you don't get a free pass just because you're Han Solo," she says, her tone sharp but laced with a performative chuckle, as if to soften the blow. The audience laughs nervously, but Ford's expression remains stone cold. "You think this is about a free pass?" he fires back, his voice steady but carrying an edge that silences the room. "I came here to talk about a film that honors veterans, people who fought for something real, not to play gotcha with someone looking for a soundbite." Behar adjusts her glasses, undeterred. "Oh, please. This show is about real talk. If you can't handle a tough question, maybe this seat's too hot for you." The crowd gasps again, and a few cheers break out, egging her on. Ford leans forward now, his hands clasped tightly on the table. "Tough questions? I've faced tougher on set at 5 a.m. This isn't tough, it's a circus." The word lands like a grenade, and Behar's smile vanishes. "A circus?" she snaps, her voice rising. "You think this show's a circus?" Ford doesn't blink. "When it's about ambushing guests instead of ideas, yeah, it feels like one." Whoopi jumps in, her voice calm but firm. "All right, let's take a breath here, folks." But Behar cuts her off. "No, Whoopi, let's not pretend." Harrison seems to think he's above being challenged. Ford's scowl deepens, and he shakes his head. "Challenged? Joy, you're not challenging me. You're fishing for drama, and I'm not biting." The audience is on edge, some clapping, others whispering, as Sunny Hostin tries to pivot. "Harrison, let's talk about the film's message," she offers, but Behar interrupts again. "No, I want to know why he thinks he can dodge the hard stuff." Ford's eyes flash with frustration. "Hard stuff? You want hard stuff? Try making a film about war without glorifying it. Try telling stories that don't fit into a tweet. That's hard. This," he gestures at the set, "this is just loud." The crowd roars, split between support for Ford and loyalty to Behar. Sarah Haynes, visibly uncomfortable, tries to lighten the mood. Okay, maybe we can all agree Harrison's film sounds intense, but the damage is done. Ford's chair scrapes slightly as he shifts, a signal he's nearing his limit. Behar, sensing blood, leans back with a smirk. If you can't take the heat, Harrison, maybe daytime TV isn't your thing. The line draws a mix of boos and cheers, and Ford's silence speaks louder than words. The tension in the studio is palpable now, the air thick with anticipation as Harrison Ford locks eyes with Joy Behar. Her last jab hangs in the air, and for a moment, it seems like Ford might let it slide. But then he leans forward, his voice low and deliberate. You know what, Joy? I came here expecting a conversation, not a tabloid ambush dressed up as daytime TV. The audience erupts. A gasps, cheers, and a few stunned laughs ripple through the crowd. Behar's eyes narrow, her composure faltering for a split second before she recovers. In ambush? She retorts, her tone dripping with sarcasm. I'm just asking what millions of people want to know. You're a public figure, don't act like you're above scrutiny. Ford's lips twitch into a half smirk, but there's no humor in it. Scrutiny's fine, cheap shots aren't. You want to talk about my work? I'm all ears. You want to play prosecutor? Find someone else. The crowd roars again, and Whoopi raises her hands, trying to regain control. Okay, let's dial it back, people. But Behar, undaunted, leans in closer. You're dodging, Harrison. People want to know if you're as brave off-screen as you are in your movies. The jab lands, and Ford's expression hardens. Brave? I've spent my life telling stories that matter. You think bravery is shouting into a camera for applause? The audience is split, some cheering Ford's defiance, others murmuring in support of Behar's boldness. Sunny Hostin tries again to pivot. Harrison, your film sounds like it tackles heavy themes, so maybe you can share more about that? But Behar cuts in, relentless. No, Sunny, let's not let him off the hook. If he's so principled, why not speak out on the issues tearing this country apart? Ford's patience snaps. He stands abruptly, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. The studio falls silent, the cameras zooming in as he speaks, his voice calm but laced with fire. I'm done. I didn't come here to be your punching bag, Joy. You want a spectacle? Get a reality show. With that, he steps away from the table, the audience erupting in a chaotic mix of gasps, cheers, and boos. Behar tries to laugh it off. Well, folks, there goes Harrison Ford, a real class act. But Ford pauses at the edge of the set, turning back one last time. You want to play tough, Joy? Try doing it with something that matters. The words land like a thunderclap, and he exits as the show cuts to commercial, leaving the hosts stunned and the audience buzzing. As the commercial break ends, the studio is still reeling from Harrison Ford's dramatic exit. The hosts regroup, their smiles strained as they face the cameras. Whoopi Goldberg takes the lead, her voice steady but tinged with unease. Well, folks, that was a broken bar unexpected. Let's just say not every guest loves the hot seat. The audience laughs nervously, but Joy Behar, her face flushed, isn't ready to let it go. Look, I'm not here to coddle anyone, she says, adjusting her glasses. If you step onto this set, you'd better be ready for real questions. Sarah Haynes jumps in, trying to diffuse the tension. I think what Joy means is we love a spirited debate, right? But the audience's energy is uneasy, split between those who admire Behar's boldness and those who feel she crossed the line. Sunny Hostin adds, Harrison's film sounds powerful and maybe we'll get him back to talk more about it. Off camera, producers scramble, aware that Ford's walkout is already lighting up social media. Posts on X are exploding, with hashtags like #FordVSBehar and #TheViewClash trending. Some users praise Ford for standing his ground. Harrison didn't come to play Joy's gammy, respect. Others defend Behar. Joy asks what we all want to know. Why is he so sensitive? Back in the studio, Behar doubles down during the next segment. I'm not sorry for asking tough questions, she declares. If you're a star like Harrison Ford, you don't get to hide behind your movies. The audience claps, but the applause feels forced, and Whoopi shoots her a look. Let's move on, Joy, she says firmly. Meanwhile, Rumors swirl that Ford met with ABC executives after the show, not to apologize but to set boundaries. According to unverified posts on X, he reportedly said, "If this network wants guests like me, they need to respect the line between discussion and provocation." The incident sparks a broader debate online about interview ethics and whether hosts like Behar push too far for drama. Some call for an apology, while others argue Ford overreacted. The next day, a pre-recorded statement from Ford airs on The View. "I walked out because I came to talk about my work, not to be mocked," he says, his voice calm but resolute. "If you want real talk, listen to the stories we're telling, not the headlines you're chasing." The statement draws mixed reactions, with some praising his dignity and others calling it a cop-out. The clash becomes a cultural flashpoint, fueling discussions about celebrity accountability and the role of talk shows in a polarized world. The fallout from Harrison Ford's walkout on The View dominates entertainment news, though no major outlets like CNN or Variety report it, suggesting the story's roots in unverified online content. Social media platforms, especially X, are ablaze with clips from YouTube channels like Street Real Life, which posted dramatized narrations of the alleged clash, racking up tens of thousands of views. These videos, often flagged as significantly edited or digitally generated, weave a narrative of Ford storming off after Behar's scorning comments about his reluctance to engage in political banter. One video claims Ford was promoting a Roar film and snapped when Behar called his silence on current events cowardly, quoting him as saying, "I didn't come here to be your punching bag." But searches of TV Guide's episode database show no record of Ford appearing on The View in 2025, and his last appearance was in 2008 for Indiana Jones, where he completed the interview without incident. Snopes debunked similar claims, noting the lack of media coverage for an event that would have sparked widespread attention given Ford's stature. On Reddit, users dismiss the story as fake news, with one post suggesting it's part of a viral experiment to track misinformation spread. "Harrison loves Joy. So does Callista," one user writes, referencing Ford's wife, Callista Flockhart. "This is just clickbait drama." Back on the show, Behar addresses the incident the following Monday, her tone defiant but measured. "I ask the questions people want answers to," she says. "If that ruffles feathers, so be it." Whoopi, visibly exasperated, adds, "We love our guests, but we also love a good conversation. Let's keep it respectful." The audience claps, but the mood feels subdued, as if the hosts know the story has taken on a life of its own. Online, the debate rages. Is Behar a fearless journalist or a provocateur chasing clout? Did Ford overreact, or was he justified in calling out a circus? Posts on Threads mock the narrative, with one user joking, "Next they'll say Harrison Ford and Joy Behar are secretly moving to Canada together." The lack of concrete evidence and no unedited clips, no official statements beyond Ford's alleged pre-recorded message fuels skepticism, yet the story persists, driven by viral videos and social media hype. The incident, real or not, underscores the power of narrative in shaping public perception, especially when emotions run high. As the dust settles, the Harrison Ford-Joy Behar saga becomes a case study in modern media dynamics. The story, largely unverified, thrives on platforms like YouTube and X, where sensational headlines and edited clips fuel engagement. Channels like Street Real Life continue posting variations of the tale, with titles like Harrison Ford kicked OFF The View or Ford storms away with Joy Behar's scornful comments, each garnering thousands of views despite warnings about digital manipulation. Snopes and Yahoo report no evidence of Ford appearing on The View in 2025, and the absence of mainstream coverage raises red flags. A similar debunked story about Tom Cruise walking off the show after Behar questioned him about Scientology suggests a pattern of fabricated celebrity clashes. On Reddit, users dissect the rumor, with one commenting, "This is just high-generated clickbait. Harrison would never lose his cool like that, he'd just scowl and wait it out." Yet the story's persistence reveals a deeper truth. People crave drama, especially when it pits a beloved icon against a polarizing host. On The View, the hosts move on to new topics, but Behar's reputation as a provocateur grows. with some fans praising her fearlessness and others calling for accountability. Ford, meanwhile, remains silent, letting his works speak for him, as he always has. His alleged statement about guest dignity resonates with those who feel talk shows prioritize spectacle over substance. The clash, whether real or fabricated, sparks a broader conversation about the line between tough journalism and performative drama. Social media users debate whether celebrities should be pressed on political issues or allowed to focus on their craft. One ex-post sums it up: Ford didn't sign up for a political roast. Behar's job is to ask questions, not throw punches. Another counters: if you're a star, you're fair game, don't cry when you get called out. The saga, fueled by unverified videos and viral posts, fades from mainstream attention but lingers in online echo chambers, a testament to the power of a good story, a true or not. As The View continues, and Ford prepares for his next project, the incident remains a fleeting but fiery moment in the cultural zeitgeist, reminding us how quickly narratives can ignite and spread in the digital age.